You're not just watching data, you're watching an alert. The visual shifts to the silhouette of Voyager drifting through stars, its antenna
Numbers
in deep
didn't
space,
act like random
far
noise.
beyond the heliosphere
An
where
AI
sunlight
system
is little
flagged
more
the
than a
packet
rumor.
for further
An
review.
ancient machine still
What
hums
followed
a message
shocked
back
and
to
aimed
Earth.
outward.
Voyager
Lines
1,
of data pulse
launched
across
in
the HUD.
1977
Wave
to capture
spikes,
humanity's
timestamps,
first
and then
close glimpses of
prime
Jupiter
number
and Saturn.
intervals.
Everyone,
was never
a
meant
string
to
of
keep
prime
talking
numbers,
this long.
perfectly
Its
spaced.
cameras went
then came
dark over
structured
30 years ago
waveforms.
to save
Then
dwindling
language,
power.
the
Its
fragments.
instruments,
flashing rhythmically.
starved of energy,
2, 3,
have grown
5,
quiet
7,
one by one.
11, 13.
By rights, it
The
should have
pattern
fallen
carries
silent
weight.
forever.
It's driven,
and yet,
not random.
late in
Humans were chilling.
2024,
The AI
something
interpreted
unexpected
them.
stirred
Echo
in the data
read,
streams
beware.
drifting back
These
across
weren't random.
billions of kilometers.
They weren't natural.
At first,
They certainly
it was a
weren't.
routine packet.
The tone is tense.
Plasma
We sense
readings
purpose.
and magnetic field
Is
data.
Voyager sending
the
this?
usual static
Or
from
did it
interstellar
receive
space.
something it wasn't
But
meant
buried
to?
deep in the numbers,
Weren't man-made.
an AI tasked
Voyager
with
was
sorting cosmic
originally
noise
built
from
to
meaningful
explore,
patterns
but
caught
now it
something
may
that
have
made it
become
pause.
something else
Perfectly
entirely a
spaced
receiver.
prime
The screen
numbers,
flashes
laid
the
out like
teaser.
beads on a string.
Tonight we
then
explore
came
something
structured
no one
waveforms,
expected.
then fragments
hangs,
that felt
urgent,
impossibly
impossible.
deliberate.
A transmitter.
Echo,
Perhaps
read,
even a warning
beware.
post.
The
And as more
discovery
scientists
unsettled
studied
even
the
the most
data,
skeptical
one question
engineers at
echoed louder than the
JPL.
rest.
Voyager's radio
Unmissable.
systems were never
This is
meant
more
to
than
decode
science.
or relay
It's a
structured
thriller.
language.
And
The
one
probe
thing
has
is
no
clear.
complex autonomy,
Whatever's happening,
no
it's
sophisticated
Who or
software.
what is speaking? And
Just
why
primitive
now?
circuits
Because
built to
whatever
send
is
home
behind
chirps of
this
data
signal,
about charged
it isn't
particles and
finished.
cosmic rays.
Voyager
Yet
using
these
Voyager
patterns
in
weren't
ways
random.
it was never
They
designed
repeated
to.
with uncanny
What starts as
precision,
static
harmonics
becomes a signal.
pulsing at prime intervals.
And once that shift
Voyager
occurs,
isn't silent
5,
anymore.
7
The scene
days over
opens
an
cold.
18-day cycle.
The steady hum of
Engineers,
Voyager fills
trained
the
to
screen.
dismiss the bizarre
Plasma
cosmic
occurs,
static or
nothing
instrument
feels the
drift
same.
couldn't explain
What followed
it away.
wasn't a mission
The
update.
deeper the AI
It was a pulse of
surged,
mystery.
the more the signal
47-year-old
unfolded,
Wave static
splitting
ripples
static into
alongside
fragments
digital
that looked
bleeps,
eerily like
familiar
language,
yet
or
ominous.
something
Then an
behaving
AI
like
voice interrupts.
words with rhythm,
Voyager
syllabic
Probe,
structure,
powered mostly by decay,
even pauses
began
that
to
felt
whisper in
intentional.
patterns.
And the most
Engineers
chilling
listened.
word,
AI
repeated
decoded.
over and over,
And suddenly,
beware.
Wasn't supposed
What
to send
started
this.
as a quiet
It's a
anomaly
warning.
soon
The
became a
tension is
scientific
immediate and
firestorm.
palpable.
Linguists were
You're no
called in to
longer
study the
watching raw
repeating
data. You're
patterns,
witnessing.
a
trying to
wandering
measure
relic
whether
from
they
the dawn
aligned
of
with
space
known
began
languages.
speaking in prime
They
number
didn't,
beats.
but they displayed
But to what
rules that
end?
felt linguistic,
Voyager's legacy Voyager
repetition,
and alert.
boundaries, and
Visually,
order.
we shift to the
Physicists tried
silhouette
to
of the
model
spacecraft
natural
drifting
causes,
through a
from solar
starfield.
wind
Its
echoes to
antenna
memory
angled
glitches
launched in
in Voyager's aging
1977,
computer
riding
systems.
atop rockets to
None
explore the
fit.
giants.
And so,
Jupiter,
an older,
Saturn, Uranus,
darker possibility
Neptune.
emerged.
It's
That
carried
something
deep
out there was
space.
using
On the
Voyager as a
HUD,
conduit,
streams
not just
of data
hijacking
flow,
its weak
wave
transmitter,
spikes,
but
timestamps,
transforming an
and then a
artifact of
rhythmic
the space
flashing
age
of
Cameras
into a
returned
messenger,
iconic images.
all wise.
But
a
after
warning
1990,
post.
those eyes
In
were
early
shut to conserve
2025,
power.
as fresh data
The
packets
twilight
arrived,
shift began.
the
Prime
AI
numbers
flagged
2,
even clearer
3,
sequences.
5, 7,
the same words,
11, 13.
more confident now.
The pattern isn't
Echo,
arbitrary.
read,
It feels
beware.
intense.
A silence
pictures,
settled over
only
JPL's
instruments
control
that
room
measured
each
heat,
time the fragments
dust,
appeared.
and waves.
Even the most rational minds
2012,
felt the
Voyager
weight of those
Intentional,
words.
purposeful.
Beware
the tone sharpens.
wasn't a neutral
Has Voyager
message.
sent this
It was
signal?
a directive,
Or did
charged
it
with
receive
urgency,
something it wasn't
sent
designed
across
to catch?
the
distances measured in
heliosphere
light
crossing
years.
into
But by
interstellar
whom?
space.
And about what?
Since then,
Some
it's been
scientists
sending back
proposed a
plasma wave
natural
data
echo,
and magnetic
a
readings.
relic of an ancient
A
transmission
teaser flashes
bouncing
across
through
the
cosmos.
screen. Tonight,
Others suggested
we
the
explore
unthinkable,
something no one
that
anticipated.
something intelligent
the
was
urgency.
speaking now,
Whispers
choosing
in the void.
Voyager's faint,
Though
slow
scientists expected a
pulses as
slow
its
fade,
voice.
Voyager just
Voyager's
kept talking.
history only
And
deepened
that
the
persisted.
mystery.
is
After its
real.
glorious
This isn't
tour
just
of the
science.
outer
It's the
planets,
thriller.
the probe
And
lost
the
its sight.
implications are
Its cameras
unsettling.
shut down forever
Voyager
in
Distant voice
1990 to
remained.
save power. Since
Unexpected
then,
and
it
invaluable.
has spoken only in
The
whispers
funny
of
thing
plasma
is,
waves
Voyager
and cosmic
wasn't built
dust.
to send
Its
messages.
data stream growing
Meant
thinner
only
each
to
year.
observe,
By
is now
2012,
behaving like
it
a
had slipped
messenger for
beyond the
something
sun's
unknown.
protective bubble
Static
into
has
true
become
interstellar
signal,
space.
and once that
A
Its
place so
instruments
empty it
measure
seems
field.
absurd to imagine
radio
messages
makes chirps.
waiting there. Yet
Nowhere
here
did
they
the
were.
design include
Prime
receiving
number
complex
pulses
signals
nested in the
or
static,
transformation
repeated
occurs.
so persistently
Everything
that even
changes.
skeptics
This
had to
wasn't a
concede there was
mission
design,
update.
not
What arrived
coincidence.
was something
As the
stranger.
AI models
Pulse
refined their
relaying them in
analysis,
code.
They detected
Cameras
deeper
were disabled.
structures. Frequency
Autonomy is limited to
modulations
basic
too
error
ordered to be
handling.
cosmic noise,
Yet anomalies
harmonic
keep
layers
coming.
echoing in prime
Mystery.
intervals,
A
in words that
47-year-old
emerged more
spacecraft
distinctly with
running
each
mostly
pulse.
on radioactive
Echo,
decay
read,
began to
beware.
speak in prime
What
numbered
seemed
bursts.
at first a single
And
anomaly
That's the
became a
foundation of
consistent
our
signal,
story.
growing
An
in
aged
clarity with
explorer,
each
still
transmission.
drifting,
And that raised
still
the
active,
question haunting
still
every
communicating
researcher now
beyond.
Engineers
staring at
listened,
Voyager's data.
AI
Is this a
interpreted,
conversation
and suddenly,
or
a wandering
countdown?
relic from the
world
dawn of
science
space
fractured
exploration
into
was
competing
transmitting.
theories.
Its original
Some
mission.
argued it was data
And when
corruption
patterns
twisted
emerge
into
in its
meaning
data,
by
we
overtrained
listen.
algorithms.
Because even
Others
in simple
insisted the signal's
complexity
consistency
Structured signals,
and the
but for what
linguistic tone of
purpose?
beware
Voyager 1
couldn't
was
be
launched
ignored.
in
A few
1977
proposed
aboard
Voyager
a
wasn't
Titan
the
Centaur
true
rocket.
source,
can hide.
only an
And
accidental
when
receiver,
complexity repeats,
caught in the path of something
suggests
older and
intention.
vaster than anything we've imagined.
After 4 decades
But no
of
matter the
silence,
theory, the
With a
signal
mission
kept
to
coming.
explore the
And
gas
each new
giants
fragment
Jupiter,
added urgency
Saturn,
to the puzzle.
Uranus, and
Meanwhile,
Neptune.
at the Jet
It
Propulsion
captured some of the
Laboratory,
most
the old
iconic
Voyager's
spacecraft
hum
status
became a
screen
heartbeat,
showed what they always
not of
had.
space,
A
but of
spinning tape
pattern.
reel of ones
Late
and
in
zeros,
2024,
plasma
JPL's
density,
data systems
cosmic ray
images in
counts.
space history.
But now,
But
every
after
spike and dip
1990,
carried
its
potential
cameras were turned
engineers
off to
who
conserve
once
power.
watched those numbers for
something
hardware
unusual.
failures
A spike,
began reading them as words.
a rhythm, a
Echo,
repeating prime
read,
number echo
beware.
that felt
What had been
deliberate.
data
From
became
then on,
narrative.
Voyager
What had been
transitioned
static
into
became a
twilight
story.
mode, no
In
more
conference rooms
pictures,
packed
only
with linguists,
instruments measuring dust.
astrophysicists,
it
and
pulsed
SETI
again.
researchers.
And that
The
brought
tone
us to the next
shifted from
chapter.
curiosity to alarm.
The spike,
Beware isn't
anomaly
a question
detected toward
or
the
an
end
idle
of 2024.
It's a
routine
message
Heat
rooted in danger.
and magnetic waves.
The kind of word
in
that crosses
2012,
cultures
it
because
left the
survival
heliosphere
demands it.
and
And
officially
while the
entered
fragments were
interstellar
sparse,
space.
they
data
repeated
sweep
so
in JPL
consistently
flagged
that doubt
unusual
eroded.
telemetry.
If this
Not
was a
random,
hoax,
not
who could
transient.
fake it?
A spike
And why?
showing
If
harmonic
it was an
intervals.
echo,
Since
why
then,
now,
it has been quietly
after
sending
decades of
back
silence?
plasma wave
And if it
and
was truly
magnetic
sent,
field data.
what was the danger?
Scientists
And to
expected
whom?
its voice.
Beyond
3
the walls
days,
of JPL,
5 days,
the public
7
story
days.
began to emerge.
Prime spacing
An ancient
over
probe,
an 18-day
silent
cycle.
for decades,
It repeats
suddenly
to fade
speaking
gradually.
in prime numbers
But
and
instead,
warning words.
Voyager kept
News
talking
outlets framed it as
unexpectedly,
science fiction come
persistently.
alive.
What's important to
Scientists
remember?
spoke carefully of
It
anomalous
held,
data patterns.
and it couldn't be cosmic
But behind
noise.
closed doors,
Engineers
the
initially
sense of
brushed it
unease
off.
grew. Because
Interstellar
once you
space is
recognize a
messy.
pattern
is that
as
Voyager
intentional,
wasn't designed
you
to
can't
receive
unsee it.
complex
And
transmissions
every new
or encode
repetition
messages.
sharpens the question.
Its radio
Who is
chirps,
speaking
its instrument,
and why now?
Particles,
Voyager 1,
magnetic
a
shocks,
relic powered
solar
by
wind
decaying
echoes.
plutonium,
But
was
this
never
wasn't
built
noise.
to be a messenger.
It was structure.
But as the
saw
pulses
the-
instruments
continued,
observe,
its ancient
autonomy is
transmitter had
limited.
become a voice
And yet,
in the void.
anomalies
A
kept
voice
surfacing.
repeating a
This
single,
sets the
chilling
stage.
word.
A decaying
Beware.
Waveform
And
repeat over
somewhere,
weeks.
buried in
We
those
weren't watching
faint digital
chaos.
pulses,
We were watching
may lie
rhythm.
the answer to what
As
that
early
warning
2025
means,
rolled
and
in,
what waits
blur,
for us in the
still
dark
transmitting
beyond the
far
stars.
beyond its
Without
original mission.
speech,
And when
only
patterns
through
start
pulses
to
and
emerge
prime
in its
numbers,
data,
something
the
in
only
the darkness
logical
began to
response
the
speak.
spike repeated
And
again.
SETI experts,
Identical.
trained to see
That's when
patterns where others
technicians
see
whispered,
noise, took notice.
This isn't natural.
This is a pattern,
is to
one
listen
consultant
because in
explained,
even the simplest
wrapped in
signals,
primes and
meaning can
harmonic
hide.
spacing.
And when
That's
that
not
meaning
Earth tech.
repeats, it
That's
suggests
signal
Harmonics of
architecture.
that precision
Still,
aren't random,
they urge
especially
caution.
from Voyager's
If it's a
broken
message,
output.
it could be centuries
A question
old,
started
echoing
forming.
through time.
best intention
If
dot
it's
by the
live,
end of
then someone,
2024,
somewhere
Voyager's hum
is
took on a
watching.
new dimension.
Astrophysicists
It wasn't
combed
just
through
a background.
every
Is
subsystem
someone
on
or
Voyager.
something
No power
sending signals
fluctuations,
through Voyager?
no data misroutes.
That's when
no
AI
sign of
entered.
instrument bleed or
Our neural
hardware
net,
fault.
trained on
Voyager
data,
Signal
wasn't sending
anymore.
these
It pulsed
pulses
like
on
a
its own.
heartbeat.
This is either the
A
most
regular,
profound
deliberate
breakthrough
rhythm
or the
of
most
prime numbers.
elaborate false
Jet
positive
propulsion
in history.
labor-
decades of
A
radio and
researcher
wave
mode.
data
And if
flagged
it's real,
precise prime
and we have
number
just made
sequences.
contact,
2,
voices
3,
of
5,
caution
7,
rose.
11,
If
13.
this is a
Laboratory
warning,
systems
we
noticed
should listen,
a strange
but we
spike,
shouldn't
a
answer.
rhythm, a
Others
signal with
pushed for
prime intervals
urgency.
3 days,
Verify,
5 days.
decode,
17.
understand.
Then
before
fragments
something
began to
else
emerge.
arrives.
Words
Earth
stitched
stayed
of
outwardly
plasma
calm.
bursts.
But in
Echo,
research
read,
centers,
beware.
the debate turned
7 days
fierce.
repeating
This
over
wasn't
an
just a
18-day
scientific
cycle.
anomaly.
It
was a
didn't look like
philosophical
cosmic
riddle.
noise. At
Something was
first,
speaking
engineers
through
dismissed
Voyager.
it.
This is
Something
code.
structured.
Who is
And
speaking?
if fully decoded,
And who's listening?
it could forever change
Something
our place
ancient
in
and
the
distant
galaxy.
just
But first,
started.
scientists
Interstellar
asked the
space
haunting
is
question.
chaotic.
Has this
Solar
happened
wind
before?
echoes,
They turned
magnetic
to history
shocks,
for
radiation.
context.
But this
in
was different.
1977,
To speak
the same
through
year
a probe
Voyager
built in the
launched,
same era it
Ohio
launched,
State's Big E
whispering prime
telescope
numbers.
detected the
But
famous famous
once those
wow
pulses...
The signal was
a
structured.
narrow band burst,
It repeated over
72
several
seconds
weeks.
long,
By early
never
2025,
sudden,
was turned into fragments of
unexplained,
language.
and gone.
Beware.
A cosmic
Echo.
shout.
It wasn't
What
just
Voyager
science
was
anymore.
catching felt
It became a
different.
question
Not
of
a
intent.
shout, but a
turned
whisper,
again and changed.
persistent,
Technicians
deliberate,
grew uneasy.
unfolding.
This
And
isn't
in
natural.
1974,
Someone whispered.
humanity had sent out
Harmonic-
the
And our
Arecibo
next job was
message,
to find
a
out,
binary
is
signal
this
aimed
signal
at
an alert?
M13, containing human
invitation
figures,
enters the scene.
DNA structure,
that
and
precise
numbers.
don't come from.
It was a gesture,
malfunctioning
a message in a
instruments.
bottle across the
So the
stars.
question surfaced,
Now,
was Voyager
Voyager's
sending
pulse
the...
When the
patterns felt
anomaly
like a
first
reply,
appeared, it was
or
puzzling.
another voice
But when it
entirely.
repeated, it
The
became
use of
something
prime
else,
numbers in the
uncanny.
signal hinted at a
That's when
mathematical
JPL
handshake,
brought in
So
an
was it
intelligent
receiving?
calling card.
That's when
and the
AI stepped in.
fragments,
A neural
repeating
network
echo,
trained on
suggested
decades of
something
plasma and
reflexive,
radio
a
wave data
response
flow.
in the AI
reflection.
systems.
Then there
These
was a
weren't just
golden
pattern
record
matchers.
bolted onto
These were
Voyager
deep learning
itself,
quantum models
a time
trained on
capsule of
decades of
sounds,
Voyager's raw
Flag
languages,
something new.
and music from
Precise
Earth,
prime
meant for
sequences
whoever might
2,
find it.
3,
But maybe
5,
now
7,
we were
11,
receiving their
13,
version of a time
output.
capsule,
Every
not
click,
of culture,
hiss,
but of caution.
pulse,
Over
and
decades,
gap.
we had
The
sent
goal
messages
wasn't to
into
decode
the
a
void.
message.
Now,
The goal
17.
perhaps,
Then
the
came the
void was
fragments
speaking
plasma
back.
bursts
And if that
shaped
was
like
true,
language.
Voyager's pulses
One early
weren't
message
just
read,
data.
echo,
There were
read.
history
The goal was to
unfolding
rule
in
one
real
out.
time.
At
Theories
first,
erupted
the
over
AI
what could
treated
be
it as
sending
noise.
such a signal.
Background
Voyager
plasma
drifts
shifts,
beyond
solar
15
wind
billion
resonance.
miles.
Beware.
Far
This
past
was no
planetary
longer
interference.
science alone.
Some
It
scientists
became a
proposed
question
a
of
temporal
intent.
echo,
When the
a message
anomaly
bent
first
and
appeared,
bounced through
it was
space-time itself,
It simulated
distorted
thousands
by
of
cosmic
possible
lensing,
causes.
like shouting into a
Radiation
canyon
interference,
curve by gravity.
instrument
Others
feedback.
pictured an ancient
strange.
defensive beacon.
When it
a
repeated,
warning
it
signal
became
meant to
eerie.
keep travelers away from
JPL's
something
advanced
hidden,
AI
with
systems,
beware
deep
as
learning
the
quantum
simplest
models
universal
trained.
Memory
command.
bleed.
Maybe it
None
wasn't meant
matched.
for us at all.
And then,
Another
in the
idea
background noise
suggested a
of the repeating
navigation marker,
primes,
a cosmic
found
trail
alignment.
sign,
On
repeating
Voyager's
primes to
complete
prove
telemetry
intelligence
history
and mark a
were
location.
deployed not
Darker
to decode a
theories
message,
emerged,
but
a
to rule one
clandestine
out.
human transmission from a secret
Precise
deep
frequency
space probe.
modulation
But
at
why the
regular
warning?
intervals.
And
What
why
looked
now?
like a
And then the
vibration
most
was in fact an
unsettling
ordered structure.
possibility.
Thousands of
Alien
simulations were
intelligence,
run. The AI
deliberately
considered
hijacking
every
Voyager's faint
possibility.
transmitter,
Radiation
not to begin a
interference,
conversation,
faulty
but simply
Data.
to send three
The deeper
chilling
it dug,
words.
the more the
Echo,
signal unfolded.
read,
Using
beware.
something akin
When
to
the
natural
source remained
language
hidden,
inference,
the weight
the
of the
AI
unknown
answers,
settled
corrupted
in.
memory.
Scientists,
None fit
intelligence
then in the
agencies,
midst of
and
the noise.
observatories
A
around
pattern
the world
emerged.
confronted a single,
Precise
urgent
frequency-
I
fact.
began clustering
When the universe
segments.
speaks in a
At
language we
first,
can
it resembled
partially
digital
understand,
static.
we must
But
decide
eventually,
whether to
word-like
listen
structures
or
emerged.
to answer. As the
Modulations
signal's
repeated at
credibility
fixed
grew,
intervals.
so did its global
What looked
impact.
like vibration was
NASA
revealed
found
to be
itself
structured
joined by
data.s.
Jackson,
Not human words,
ISIO,
but recurring
Russia's
formations
Roscosmos,
with boundaries
and even the
and
U.S.
syntax.
Space Force.
The most
Deep
common
space
fragments
receivers
repeated
tuned in,
across several
hunting
Pulses
for repeat
deepened,
pulses.
the signal unfolded.
Emergency summits
Using models
convened quietly
similar to
behind
natural
closed
language
doors.
processing,
Terms
the
like
AI began
non-random
clustering
structure,
data.
Pulses.
intelligent origin,
Then one of them
and priority
resolved.
containment
Echo,
appeared in
read,
lead transcripts.
beware.
Supercomputers
silence in the
reprocessed
JPL
Voyager's
segments.
entire archive.
Initially, it
searching for
resembled
hidden
digital
patterns we
noise,
might have
but then
missed over
word-like
decades.
forms appeared.
And outside official
Not
circles,
human language.
amateur
Program
radio
was total.
astronomers coordinated,
The AI flagged it
tracking
again
pulse
48 hours
intervals
later.
and building crowdsourced
Another
databases.
pulse, this time more
The
confident.
chilling
Exactly.
discovery.
But
The
repeated
signal wasn't
structures with
fading.
identifiable
It was growing
boundaries.
clearer,
and syntax,
stronger,
the most common
more
fragment
frequent.
appeared.
The debate
The same
widened
sequence,
beyond
slightly
science to
clearer.
ethics. Should
Engineers
humanity
stared at the
reveal
output.
this message
These
to the
weren't
public,
just random
or keep it
strings, they were
secret
shaping
until it's
meaning.
fully
Across
understood?
multiple
One
pulses.
UN official
Eventually,
put it bluntly,
one decoded
we've crossed
clearly,
into a new
echo,
era, and we
read,
don't get to vote
beware,
on what comes
silence
next.
fell
Around
But the
the
meaning
world,
wasn't just in the
telescopes
words.
turned
It
skyward,
was in the
used
delivery.
straining for the next
Harmonic
fragment.
pulses,
Voyager,
modulated
silent to
through
the
Across
eye
the
yet alive and
JPL
radio
control room.
pulses, kept
2 days
speaking.
later, another
Then,
pulse
late
arrived
one night,
clearer,
a
boldly
new
repeating the
pulse
same
arrived.
3 words.
The
Fine
AI,
intervals,
trained
arriving
to
in
watch for
patterns
structure,
too structured to be
immediately
natural,
flagged something
too
chilling.
deliberate to
4
ignore.
pulses left.
And so the story
Silence.
took a sharp turn.
Engineers froze.
Engineers
Was this a
realized these
sequence,
weren't random
a transmission
symbols.
badge,
The message
or a
had
countdown?
rhythm, pacing,
The idea that
structure,
once
and
seemed
meaning.
fringe now felt inescapable.
Voyager had become a
Moments
conduit,
later,
not just a
another
relic.
signal.
A data channel had
Shorter,
emerged in
sharper,
plain sight.
intervals
undetected.
It
contracting.
wasn't just in the
urgency
content,
rising.
it was in the
The
delivery.
AI's analysis
Prime
predicted the
numbered
next
harmonic
transmission
pulses,
at precisely
spaced
11:11
perfectly,
universal
delivering
time
For
coordinated,
decades,
and
until
warned,
AI
probable
peeled back the
final
static
sequence
and
length
found the
four.
whisper inside.
That gave them hours.
But if the signal
Around
held
mission
a
control,
message,
eyes
was
turned to
and
the clock,
impossible to
not
ignore.
in panic, but in
Voyager was
breathless
no longer just
expectation.
transmitting,
Because
it had
whatever
become
came
a
next,
conduit. An
warning,
ancient probe had
revelation,
opened
was it trying to say?
It would mark a turning
fragments were
point in
unsettling,
human history.
and more
And as
were
the
about
final
to
hours
arrive.
ticked away, the
Decoded
narration
fragments.
echoed, prepare
a
for
hidden
what
data
comes
channel.
next.
Within days,
We built Voyager
the AI
to explore
uncovered
the
additional
unknown.
fragments.
We never
still
imagined
partial,
it might become
still
a
garbled,
messenger
but
from
undeniable.
Within
across
days,
decades
the
of
AI
silence,
had extracted more
powered only
fragments,
by
still
decaying
broken,
atoms.
still garbled,
The spacecraft
but
began to
undeniably
send not
repeating.
just telemetry, but
repeating,
pulses shaped
echo,
in prime
read.
intervals,
Beware,
fragments that AI
scientists were
didn't
cautious
invent, but
in calling
uncovered.
it a message,
Echo,
but linguists
read,
began to
beware. Whether
Read,
cosmic echo,
beware,
countdown,
3
or
words,
deliberate
or
signal,
signals shaped
the
like
message
words.
was real. It was
Scientists
dissecting the
received.
data.
And then,
The structures were
haunting
syllabic,
part
organized,
came silence.
deliberate.
A silence
What
too
unsettled
heavy,
them most
too timed,
was
too
hesitated to call
deliberate,
it a message.
like a breath
But
drawn
linguists
before the
were
next
brought in,
word.
and the
And
deeper
so,
they analyzed
Voyager,
it, the more human
our
adjacent
distant
it felt.
relic
wasn't
drifting
the
in the dark,
vocabulary, it was
forced
the
us to
tone.
confront the
Beware
oldest
wasn't
question.
passive.
Are we
It
alone?
was a directive,
And if not,
urgent, commanding,
is someone
but from whom?
or something
Structured,
trying to
syllabic,
warn us?
deliberate.
Perhaps the
What
message
troubled
was
them
never
most
meant
wasn't the
for us.
vocabulary,
Or
it was the
perhaps it
tone.
was meant for us
Beware.
now, at this precise
And about
moment.
what?
Because
Some
Voyager
speculated
reminded
the
us of a
signal
truth
wasn't
we
meant
had
for
nearly
Earth at
forgotten.
all, but
The
a relic
universe
ancient
listens,
echo,
and
bouncing
sometimes
across.
It wasn't
it
a question.
answers.
It
And
wasn't
when it
vague.
does,
It was a
even 3
directive.
words can change everything.
Linguistically simple.